Good morning, grade 3. Today's lesson is the congruent and similar figures. It's in the student book, page 312. First, what are the congruent figures and what are similar figures? Congruent figures, it means that they are figures that have the same size and the same shape. So, in example number 1, you can see two triangles. They are the same in shape, the same in size, so we call them congruent triangles. So they are congruent triangles. Let us see example number 2. Here we have also two triangles, but are they having the same shape? They are different shapes of triangles, different types. So these two triangles, they are not congruent. Again, in number 3, here we have two shapes. Both of them are squares. They are the same in shape, but their size are different. The first one is big, the second is small square, so they have the same shape, but they are different in size. So these also we will say that they are not congruent. Let us see number 4. Here we have two different shapes. They are different in shape, and of course we will not look to the size. So because they are different in shapes, so they are also not congruent. What about example number 5? Here we have two shapes. They are the same. They are two parallelograms and they are same in size. So these two parallelograms are congruent. They have the same shape and the same size. So we saw now what are the congruent figures. They are shapes. They have the same shapes and the same size. They are typical, the same. Let us see what do we mean by similar figures. The similar figures are figures that have the same shape, but they may have the same size or not. So if they are two squares, even if they are not the same size, they are similar. This means that any congruent figures are similar. We can call them similar figures, but not all the similar figures are congruent. So any congruent figures are similar because they have the same shape and the same size, but not any similar figures are congruent. Why? Because the similar figures can have different sizes. They have the same shape, but they can be different in size. So that's why not any similar figure are congruent. Let us see here. In example number 1, the two shapes. They are two different shapes. The first is, yes, pentagon, and the second is a hexagon. So can we call them similar figures? Of course not. They are not similar. Why? Because they are different shapes. So we say that they are not similar. And because they are not similar, of course they are not congruent. So if they are not similar, they will be not congruent. In example number 2, we have two shapes, two figures. They have the same shape. Both of them are pentagons, but they are different in size. The first one is big, the second is small. So they are not congruent, but they are similar. They are similar, but they are not congruent because they are different in size. So these are two similar figures, but they are not congruent. They are the same shape, both of them are pentagons, but they are different in size. So they are similar but not congruent. The third example, we have two rectangles. They have the same shape because both of them are rectangles, and the size of each one of them is the same like the other. So these two rectangles are similar. Are they congruent? What do we mean by congruent? They have the same shape and the same size. So these two rectangles are having the same shape and they have the same size, so they are similar and they are also congruent. In example number 4, let us see what do we have. We have two different sizes of the same shape. The two shapes are the same, but they are different in size. So are they similar? Yes, they are similar because they have the same shape. Are they congruent? No, they are not congruent. Why? Because they have different sizes. Again, our last example. Here we have two right angle triangles. Remember, here is the right angle. The two right angle triangles, they have the same shape, but are they having also the same size? Yes. So they have the same shape, the same size. So are they similar? Yes, they are similar. And also, are they congruent? Yes, they are congruent. So these two right angle triangles are similar and also they are congruent. Now we should know that the congruent shapes, the congruent figures are shapes having the same in shape and the same in size. But the similar figures, they are the same in shape but they can be different in size. They can be same in size and they can be different in size. This is the difference between the congruent and the similar figures. So any congruent figures are similar, but not all the similar figures are congruent. You should know how to differentiate between the congruent and the similar figures. I hope that you understood what we did and you are able to answer the questions and your homework. Thank you and goodbye.